Hello, everyone. I'm Riana Milne, and I have an amazing podcast to bring to you today, along with Christopher Bruce, divorce attorney, believe it or not. And this information is so cutting edge because Christopher specializes in helping women who have narcissistic, controlling, and very difficult husbands that are thinking of divorce, and he helps them through every step of the process. So because I specialize in women going through a difficult transition in life or love, this is going to be a fascinating podcast, and I'm so happy to have you with me today, Chris.
Riana, thank you so much for having me. I think we're going to have a lot of helpful material, and it's stuff that I think is just going to be great for the people who need it.
Absolutely. So I'm going to read a full introduction of Chris so I get it correct. Listen to this entire podcast. You're going to learn so much, whether you're contemplating divorce, going through it, about to interview an attorney, or have a great friend that's going through this. Chris is somebody you want to reach out to. So Christopher Bruce is a South Florida divorce attorney and an author of a number of divorce-related books for women. And by the way, I have all 4 books, and they are fantastic. We're going to highlight the one, The Woman's Guide, Organized in Divorce, and the one that I love in particular on narcissistic partners today. Okay, and he gives these out free. So make sure you have a pen and paper so you can write down those addresses in the podcast. So over the years, Chris's practice has narrowed to primarily representing women who have a need to confront controlling, manipulative, narcissistic husbands in divorce cases that usually have a significant financial component or an important matter involving children. So again, this is my ideal clients going through this. Chris was born and raised in Palm Beach County, Florida, and returned to the area to start his law practice after completing his accounting and legal education. While studying to pass the Florida bar, Chris was lucky enough to meet his wife, Ashley, who's also an attorney, and together they are now the proud parents of 2 young children. Chris's law firm, the Bruce Law Firm, is limited to representing clients in contested divorce and child custody matters. The firm's main office is located off Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, 1601 Forum Place in Palm Beach County. And he also works with people in Martin and Broward counties. So welcome again, Chris. I'd love
Riana, thank you so much for the opportunity. It's going to be a lot of fun and very useful stuff.
Absolutely. I would like to just read from your introduction on the book here. And this book is a fast read and it's fascinating. His favorite clients are women who have made the decision to divorce a controlling, manipulative, or narcissistic husband, women who are not considering divorce due to desire for money or lust. They really seek to be a right to be happy, be their own person, and to avoid the sometimes everyday experience of being devalued despite their efforts to be a caring partner, parent, and person. And that is so beautiful. That really touches the heart of many women that I work with.
Well, thank you. And I think we both dedicate ourselves to helping women in just toxic positions move on to a happier place in their life. And it's what keeps me going as an attorney. But,
Yeah.
you know, about me, just I think I'd be doing everybody a disservice if we didn't give an introduction on you. Riana Milne is a certified and global life, dating, and relationship coach, a #1 best-selling author, a life and dating coach for the new docu-series Radical Dating, Finding Lasting Love Over 40, a great thing to help out my client base. Mm-hmm. And she's also formerly hosted the TV show Lessons in Life and Love. She's an educational speaker. She's a licensed mental health counselor and certified trauma and addiction professional for over 18 years in the Delray Beach, Florida area. And now she offers online virtual coaching courses for singles and couples at www.lifeandlovetrainingacademy.com. And I'm not done yet. In addition to being a great female entrepreneur, Riana has a free app, which I'll have to say is fantastic. It's called My Relationship Coach. That's the name of the app. And the app offers many videos and articles for her 5-star rated books, those being Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve, and Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. The book addresses life transitions, personal transformation, and relationships with yourself and others. They're both great reads, just the kind of stuff that if you're feeling down in your life and your relationship and don't know how to move forward, it's the exact stuff you need to be reading. Riana's Facebook fan page is Coach Riana Milne, and her website is rianamilne.com. That's RianaMilne.com. It's a heck of an introduction, and I'm not even touching on the tip.
Honestly, Chris, I mean, we were meant to know each other. Our clients are like we really need to support the type of clients, ladies that we have that are so special and going through such a difficult time. So this is great. Let's get right to it.
Well, it's why don't you start just by telling us a little bit more about your work as a life, love, and relationship coach, and how you came into it. What made it and gives you the passion in this area?
Well, I've been a psychotherapist for 18 years in private practice. And once I found out about the coaching model in 2008, it was actually exactly what I wanted to do, to give more valuable time and support to my clients exactly when they needed it. So as a certified life, dating, and relationship coach, my VIP clients who work one-on-one with me, they can email me at any time. They can text me. We work virtually if they're on a trip, or we can work, in person if they're in my area. But like my furthest client right now is in Lebanon. So They get the amazing results, even if it's totally by Skype, but it's highly supportive. And I felt as a therapist, I was getting very frustrated seeing somebody who really needed support, but only once a week for 45 minutes in my practice. And so much goes on in 7 days that they can't reach out to me according to therapy laws and ethics, that they can't reach me. And so I thought therapy was doing a huge disservice to the clients that really needed me, our ideal clients, and that they really needed the support through the most difficult times. So my coaching program allows that. I focus on people that have had past childhood trauma, dating, or relationship trauma, because to transition after that, sometimes I come in, trying to get back out there and date, but they have low confidence, low self-esteem. They're feeling more needy or more frightful of the experience because they went through so much trauma in their marriages or in a prior dating relationship. So that is my focus area. And this is why I'm also a clinical trauma professional, to help the women understand why they do what they do and what has happened in their relationship so they can come back out and date from a position of strength and confidence.
I think your approach is unique. I know a lot of just therapists in the area, but you're one of the few that I think, well, really the only I've met that sticks to the coaching technique. It's really not much therapy as it is coaching, and I think that's just one of the many ways that you stand out in this field.
I actually kind of wear all three hats because as a therapist, I'm looking at the past childhood traumas that made them choose a toxic man in the first place. It's very unconscious behaviors that came from the dynamics of their family or their upbringing. So that's kind of the psychology hat. And the trauma professional, helps them through that transition of understanding consciously why they do what they do, unconsciously, and making the unconscious conscious. And then the coach takes them from where they are right now and propels them forwards into the new life that they envision, helping them with goal setting and reaching their dreams along that path. I had a client just finished, and she goes, I'm looking back to where I started, because we do goals when you're started. Yeah. Riana, everything is like 92%. I'm in my dream house. I was living in an apartment, married to a toxic guy who treated her horrendously, had a child involved with this mix. All that is done, and now she's out there dating very powerfully. Her career has really grown and make them extremely empowered people to feel the best that they can be. I love what I do. Just like you said, you love helping ladies like this.
Well, it's that's great to hear, and it's to do good. You really need a purpose and a passion, and it sounds like you have that. And I guess as it gets into the people we help, when you meet people, what are the signs that they might be in a toxic relationship with their spouse? Maybe help people understand that, because I'm not sure everybody really knows how to define that they're in a toxic relationship to begin with.
Yes. I know one way you found me. You read my article, The Help, This Relationship is Making Me Sick. And that's exactly what you feel like. You feel sick emotionally and physically. So a lot of women present with headaches, stomach aches, Either they can't sleep because they're so anxious, or they sleep too much because they're depressed. Ongoing anxiety is very typical of my clients. Just chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia comes into the body. It's like a virus because of stress over time. Weight gain or loss. You cannot lose weight because your cortisol levels are so high because of the stress. Even though you're eating well and exercising, you're like, why can't I lose this weight? Because the cortisol is keeping it in your body. Blood pressure is up. So what I do, we basically call it disease. And unfortunately, if you stay in a toxic relationship too long, the dis-ease of your situation becomes disease of the body. So, this is when, stress leads to our most common diseases. So it's really important you protect yourself and your life and get out of a toxic relationship if you feel you've done everything in your power to try and change this.
Now, just, what are the types of things that the people you help in these toxic relationships are experiencing? Are they put down? Are they ignored? Is it a little bit of the above? I mean,
there's different types of abuses. There's verbal abuse, even passive aggressive, where they don't talk to you for a couple of hours to several days. There's the emotional abuse where they make you feel not good enough. And I have this checklist that I give out to any of your listeners or on the podcast. Am I in an emotionally abusive relationship?
Yeah.
Of course, physical abuse, most people are aware of that. And then there's financial abuse where they hold or hoard money and don't let you know the real financial situation. There is sexual abuse where they're very demanding and want sex every time, which goes along with that powerful, egotistical, narcissistic men who, is usually sex addicted. So there's different types of abuses. And then I talk about the cycle of abuse. A lot of times this man does not want divorce as long as he can run his life exactly as he wants it. So there'll be this cycle, which we call the cycle of violence or the cycle of, abuse, where there's a period of flowers and making up and some dates. And then, then the anger slips in again and you feel like you're walking on eggshells. Is he going to be in a good mood today? Am I going to go home to someone angry and moody? Am I going to have him put down? And just when you're starting to feel better about things, this is when he'll start again, the manipulative control. So you hang in there for these little pieces of the good times, which is about maybe 10 or 15%. And when they're good, they're great. But when they're bad, they're horrid, so the rest of the time you're in that toxic cycle of anxiety. And the best way to describe it is that walking on eggshells feeling.
I hear so many people who talk about exactly, that phrase. It's just, they never know what to expect. And when you go through each day with that feeling, it just makes you so anxious. And it's almost impossible to enjoy life. And that's, I think, one of the worst parts about these relationships, just from what I see.
Yes, absolutely. The anxiety is really high.
So I hear you've written a little bit of a book, actually a best-selling book on breaking free of these toxic relationships. So I think you'd probably be a pretty good person to ask this question to, and it's a question a lot of my clients ask me when they meet me. And can these toxic relationships be fixed? A lot of women they want to naturally try to fix problems, not just move on from them. But I mean, what's your take on that? Can we fix these types of people and how they make?
Well, there's 19 different personality types described in this book, just so you know what the cover looks like, Love Beyond Your Dreams. And you're describing narcissistic, which is one of them. But I also talk about borderline personality types and the sociopath. And if they're really full-blown sociopath, it's almost impossible to change them. That's well documented. Someone who is borderline usually comes from severe childhood trauma, which is my specialty niche. And if there is someone that really wants help in this, yes, I have transformed their lives. If they're borderline, bipolar, narcissistic, yes. But they have got to want it. They can't be forced into the coaching or therapy session because this is a person that's halfway out the door. So I say, okay, the VIP coaching for couples is a 6-month process. Let's see what they do in 6 months. And then this way you can at least tell your children we've tried everything. And we did a 6-month intensive coaching program. Didn't work out between mom and dad. And if that's the case, and at least I coach the couple how to separate and as friends and have a more friendly divorce. So it's not impacting the children, because childhood trauma does go through the generations. But there are 10 childhood traumas, and your people can listen to those tapes on my YouTube channel, Riana Milne, or because I talk a lot about that. But that's for a whole nother tape. But I work with that. And this is where the trauma professional and the psychotherapist comes into play in the coaching. So if there's a client that really wants it, yes, I've seen profound changes. If it's somebody that's coerced into coaching or therapy, no, they've got to show up and want it.
I'm always skeptical when I hear, my clients, the people who interview me, and they think that maybe if they try one last time, their husband, who I think has a obvious personality type disorder, I just have my doubts that they'll ever try again. But I think for people who are on the fence, there's no harm in trying one last time to see if you can fix it. But I think just from my end, people need to be realistic and understand that their husband's probably never going to change, and it's I don't think part of his makeup. He's just almost like his personality keeps him from even going to want the help, but it's worth a shot.
Yeah, I had a couple, and Marie came to me because she wanted to divorce her husband and start in life coaching as a new single woman. But she was in her 70s. She was 73 and he was 78. And they've been married over 40 years. I'm like, did you try absolutely everything? I said, because it's not easy to move forward as a 73-year-old woman. So I said, let's start coaching with you and let's see if Ken comes in. Because at this time, they're still married. She didn't file for divorce. And she went home with the paperwork. He said, no, I don't want to do it. It's you. I said, well, let's start with you. So eventually he picked up the love book and he's reading the front section. And he calls me out of the blue. He goes, well, I think I need to come see you because I started reading your book and I have about 6 of those things in that part of your book. And I guess I am realizing I'm a big part of the problem. That was what I needed to get him in the door. And by then, Marie was already changing. She was becoming confident. She was dressing sexier. She ignored when he had moods. And she goes, I'm going to go take a drive, whatever the techniques I told her to do. So he saw her changing, and she said she wanted a divorce. She had filed. So she was almost out the door. And that's when these guys sometimes have that enlightening situation. So she was always in touch with her attorney. She paid the retainer. She was in touch with him. She kept him posted what was going on. And long story short, he did come in. He did the rest of the course with her. They moved into a beautiful community. They're very happy. They have found love again. They traveled together. So there was dramatic change on both parts, and she needed to see her part. And I know you speak about that in your book as well. The women have to really look at what is my part of making this relationship and marriage fail.
You have to, at least as I see it, you have to be doing that, or sometimes you're ignoring half the problem, especially if you're looking to try to fix it. And I mean, therapy and coaching is your purview. I look at it more as a person who has to deal with the problems, but almost all of the time, it's both people.
It takes two. And there's two sides of every story. I offer a free coaching session to couples on Zoom, but they both have to fill out paperwork. Now, if only one fills it out and I'll have to chase the other person for the paperwork, that's a clear sign that the other person isn't ready. You know what I mean? So it's like, come on, if you can't commit to a free session on Zoom to meet with me, what's going on? And this is already telling the woman a lot right then and there.
I think you got it right there when they say, go to therapy to fix yourself. You're the problem. That's probably a pretty
exactly.
It kind of leads me, I guess, to the next question here, and that's for the people out there who are listening to this or watching this and thinking to themselves, well, I think I might be in one of these toxic relationships, or my husband might be one of these controlling, manipulative type people. Where do they start? How do you even begin the process of moving on from, one of these relationships? The one constant I know is it's intimidating. So where do you even begin?
Yes. This is when the women do come to me, and this is when they start in singles coaching. And the choice is either to work with me one-on-one, which I call my VIP program, where they have full text and email access to me when things come up, which is perfect for a woman going through divorce. or they can get into the online group coaching with other single women. Most have had come from dating, relationship, or childhood trauma. So they're very supportive, and they get all the education on the platform at the Life and Love Training Academy.com. All the education comes to them. And then I do a group class right on Zoom, and then we all see each other, and they come and they each get like 15 minutes of individual coaching in front of the class, because their questions help so many others.
Yeah.
So that group coaching dynamic is really fantastic. But if they're in the VIP program, they get the group coaching for free. So they can sit in on the group and get that benefit, but they still get all the materials from me sent to them in a goodie box, whatever address they want me to send it to. And then we can start. And those sessions are by appointment. So for the busy professional woman, sometimes that's better for them to do VIP one-on-one and then just sit and monitor the class. And if they miss the class, they get the tape sent to them. So they still get the information.
Okay. And, for these women, I mean, at least a lot of, them seem to be asking me, usually indirectly, because, I'm a divorce lawyer. But I mean, a lot of them seem to be concerned about, are they even going to be able to find somebody who's, emotionally happy and healthy, somebody that can really be a person to share, a great life with. And they don't even know where to start. Sometimes these women are so just beaten down, and their networks are so narrow that they don't even know where to begin. I mean, is there a method getting out of that?
Many women in these relationships are kept down by the men. The men are trying to really control them and take them away from their friends and family, as you also write brilliantly in your books. You really are on the pulse of this, Chris. You really got it well described. So that is true. And really during the holiday season right now, I have ladies' night coaching and cocktails for single professional women to network, to support each other in their businesses. So they're bringing business cards, and emotionally through the holidays, and to make new friends. So it's like a perfect opportunity to come out and get that emotional and business support. You can just write me at Riana Milne at Gmail to get details on that. But it's December 19th, January 2nd, which we're making New Year's Eve goals. January 23rd, and then right before Valentine's Day, February 6th. So it will lead you up to getting new confidence to find that amazing partner. And then if you are interested in talking to me one-on-one, I offer a free coaching strategy session. Just get that at rianamilne.com on my website. Fill out a form. Tell me a little bit about your story, where you are right now. I'll reach out and offer you 1 hour of time with me to see where the trauma lies, where you are, and how I can best help you move forward.
Well, that sounds like, for the people listening to this, I mean, you got to take advantage of that. I mean, it's 1 hour for free. And I mean, I'll just say, just in our talking, getting ready for this, I felt inspired to go conquer the world. I think I joked with you, we needed to make another appointment for the same time next week. I mean, it's, there's not even an obligation. You're not paying anything for one of these consultation sessions. I think people need to take it.
Yeah, it's a $500 value, and I work with you one-on-one, and nobody else sees your story. It's all private. It's all personal. And I think it would be really helpful. A lot of people learn so much in that 1 hour about where they are and about themselves, and where did the trauma come from initially that led them to choose this kind of toxic partner, and what can they do differently so it doesn't happen again. That's really important. But Chris, I want to start getting into you now. Let's start questioning you, and tell me a little bit more about you. I understand from several of your books that you take a special interest in helping women move on from these types of toxic relationships and the controlling husbands. So what made you want to develop your law practice to helping these types of ladies?
I think what did it for me is I took a good hard look at the people I enjoy working with the most. And in divorce work, it's sometimes upsetting stuff to deal with on a daily basis as a professional. And, yes, I'm paid to do this, and, it's part of my job. But, after a while, if you don't feel like, at least for me, that you're making a difference in people's lives, it becomes a lot harder to get motivated every day and, put on the suit, tie the tie, and everything else. And when I really thought about the clients I enjoyed working with the most, it was these women that are looking to move on from these emotionally abusive, most times, relationships, because they see it as a journey, and I see it as making their lives better. I know that at the end of the day, once I've helped them get through the divorce process, they're on their path to a life. And that makes me feel like I'm making a difference with my law practice. It's more than just dividing people's property and getting them a paper that says they're divorced. And that's what keeps me going.
That's excellent. Being through divorce myself, first of all, you feel very vulnerable. And second, to really find an attorney that gets you and what you're going through, and especially be a male, it's a rare find. It's like, oh my God, I have to know you. So I can refer my ladies to you. I wish you did this globally, and we talked about that because I think it's phenomenal to help my women around the world. But women are, feeling at their worst and very scared. And like we said, there's a low support system at this time. So they really do want to be able to count on their attorney and see that they get that emotional piece that they're going through during their divorce. So that's fabulous. From your perspective as an attorney, how should someone go about divorcing a spouse who is in a toxic relationship?
It doesn't happen easy or overnight, but most big transitions in life don't. And there's a lot of things that need to happen early on before lawyers are ever contacted. And this is, I think, where you come in a lot, but really it's almost 95% preparation and 5% execution with the actual legal work if you really want it to be successful for you. And I define a successful divorce as one that not just dissolves your marriage, but puts you on a path to the better life that you desire and deserve to be living. And for most women, a lot of it starts with therapy, coaching, and developing a vision of what they want in their future life. I tell my clients they need to define their ideal life. And it's kind of what do you want your life to be like? Who are your friends going to be? What are you going to do? How is your life different than it is now? And sometimes it's a hard task to imagine that when you walk on eggshells every day and you're constantly beaten down, but you can start with it. And if you feel like it's impossible to define what you want, that's where working with you comes in.
Yeah, so you're defining the coaching purpose and vision. We do that for everyone. You're exactly right. That is a coaching process. So that's phenomenal that you see that you know about that.
Yeah, and you pretty much have to know where you're going if you want to know how to get there. And it sounds kind of philosophical and maybe like a bunch of psychobabble, but if you don't know what you want after the divorce, you don't want your life to be like, it's hard for you to know what to tell me, and it's harder for me to help you get your goals in the divorce process. So it's a really good, that's where it all starts. You got to have a vision and a purpose.
Yes, and psychologically, it helps for you to hold on to that dream as you're going through the difficult transition. It helps you to get through knowing where you're going. And when you're working with a coach during that time, I help you stay focused on the here and now and the near future. You've got the support during what's difficult, and you've got the support to believe in your dream and your new goals.
You got to do, and then you'll feel like you're on a journey and you're going to have a purpose. And I'll just be doing the legal work in the background.
Yeah. How important is it, Chris, for the spouse looking to leave the relationship to understand their role in getting into the relationship during the divorce process? I know we touched on that a little bit, but was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I think it's key, and it's, if anything, understanding that you're part of the problem, you're part of the reason that you're in an emotionally abusive relationship is critical, if only for realizing that if you made the decisions that got you into the spot that you're in, you can also make the decisions that get you out of it. The choice to change is yours. And when you understand that it wasn't just you that got you to where you are, you get the confidence to understand that, you can get yourself out of it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Understanding why you do what we do is kind of how I phrase it as well. And then making those unconscious choices now conscious so that you choose better in your future.
Well, and it's even more important for the next time around. I mean, you need to understand how you got to where you're at, so that you don't repeat the whole thing. It'd be such a shame to go through really what can be a transformative, powerfully positive event in your life, only to meet another person and get into another one of these.
Yeah, this tends to be a cycle for many people until they understand what they're doing wrong. For sure.
Exactly.
So once your client has the vision and the purpose, what comes next?
Well, I think it's a good time to start getting organized for the divorce process. And one thing, I think is worth pointing out: this does not start with telling your husband your plans for your life transformation in the future. Basically, keep quiet, I think, is what
Very
comes.
important.
Yeah, if a lot of women married to the type of man we're discussing, the male is so overconfident that their wife will never seek to move on that they don't understand that the divorce might be coming. But if they're tipped off and they think the divorce is imminent, then it becomes a much harder process than it needs to be. Think of what your husband's done to the other people who've tried to cross him in life and in business, and you don't need that happening in your divorce when you go through it.
Yes, these types of men are brilliant at manipulation, and they're going to try and schmooze you and romance you and may buy you new jewelry or whatever to try and keep the peace, or let's just do this together and save the money, then we have more to split, the whole 9 yards. You hear all these stories. So for sure, I tell women, always get your own divorce. I don't care if you think there's not much to split, do it anyway. And you have to keep quiet also for safety reasons.
Well, exactly. And, I just finished up a divorce that was overly complex. And, the person told their spouse that they were thinking about divorce, and, the person got them to reconcile. And, right after they reconciled, 49% of the company goes to someone else. And it was a enterprise, and it made her divorce when it happened a knockdown, drag out affair that cost more money and was incredibly stressful than it would have been if she just kept her lips shut. But it's easier said than done sometimes, but definitely got to stay quiet. And I guess another thing to your question is you need to get organized. I think, and this starts before you even go see an attorney. You need to get organized, figure out what you want out of the divorce. And I've got a whole book on that. It's at www, this is real easy to remember, getorganizedfordivorce.com. And it's a woman's guide to getting organized for divorce. And if you read the book, it pretty much gives you the basics, but it starts with keeping your, getting a secure email address. Many people don't have that. Getting your passwords changed and starting to collect as much of the information about your, finances as you can. Sometimes you can't get much because your husband holds it hostage, but get what you can and start kind of forming what you want to talk to an attorney about down the line, and do that before you go talk to an attorney.
Right. Write your questions down. And what advice do you have on choosing an attorney? Because I always say, go talk to someone before you file, meet somebody. What are some of the criteria?
I think you need to do it carefully. You need to get an attorney who, understands, if you're in an abusive type relationship, understands the stuff we're talking about, right now. And I'm not saying you have to go out and hire me. There's some really excellent attorneys that understand the dynamics of, dealing with somebody with a personality disorder, and you have to be confident to take your case to court, because the reality of it is, sadly, with some of these men, they make you go to court to finish things off. Somebody that basically does exclusively family law. Don't take a chance with somebody who only dabbles in divorce work, and somebody who understands the type of husband that you have. A financial background is usually a really good idea, and you have to be comfortable with them.
Yeah.
You should go, and I've got a book on this. It's alldivorcelawyers.com. It kind of lays out, how to hire a divorce lawyer and work with one if you've never interviewed lawyers before. But I at least interview 2 or 3, sit down in the room with her, and if you feel like you're not being heard and you don't have a rapport at the initial meeting, it's probably going to be what it's like during your divorce case, and you need to have
It's one thing to know the law. It's another thing to feel connected to your attorney, because you're going to need that support, and that you really feel that they get you and that they're ready to work with you, not only professionally, but as that whole person, emotionally, that they understand that they're there for you and they're doing such important work during that time.
Exactly. And if you're not comfortable in the beginning, it's just not the right person for you.
Exactly. Chris, what should people in toxic relationships expect when it comes to how their divorce plays out? What do you think will happen? Can you describe realistically?
Yeah, it's they should expect it's not usually going to be easy, and they're going to see in their spouse a ramping up of all of their worst qualities. If they were intimidated during the marriage, it's going to happen more for divorce. If the finances were always a secret, the spouse is going to do that more, and there's no sugarcoating that. You can't expect your spouse to wake up and play nice, be on board with your new vision for your future where you take half the money and run. It just doesn't, those people don't work like that. So you have to
Exactly.
understand that going in. That's why being prepared, we said earlier, 95% of this is preparation. Being as prepared as you can be, having an attorney that can help you stand up to the person and not mentioning anything to your spouse so that when your lawyer starts the process, they can do it with a strategy that's designed to put as much um,
Yep.
pressure on in the right places so that hopefully your spouse has no choice other than to do what the law says they need to do as soon as possible. But it's not going to all of a sudden wake up and they're going to be a different person and easy when they're a difficult person when there is no divorce.
And that's why to get your coach early on is so important, so you feel empowered and strong. And you vent to me, the coach. You don't vent to your husband. It's easier to keep it secret when you have somebody supporting you through the process. And maybe you can't talk to the attorney all the time, but with the coaching model, you can reach out to me through email and text when something's going on immediately. And that is the beauty of coaching. So Chris, give my and your listeners, please, all the information on where to find you, how to get your books again, because those are so valuable. I want to make sure that they wrote that down.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, the easiest way to find me, it's an easy to remember website that forwards to everything, and it's divorceinformationbooks.com, divorceinformationbooks.com, and that takes you to a spot on my firm's website to where you can get any of the books that I've written for free instant download. And you put in your email address, and you also get a chance if you press the right series buttons and forms that we'll mail you all the books in the mail. Or if you're local and are afraid of your husband finding out about things,
Yeah.
we'll package and pick up right here in the office. And also there, you'll have a link for my website, my office number, which you're welcome to call anytime. It's 561-810-0170. That's 561-810-0170. I don't have quite the Facebook following that you have. I'm working on it, but Bruce Law Firm's also on Facebook as well.
Good. Very good.
And
again, if your ladies need support, they can reach out to me at rianamilne.com. That's the website where you will find free chapter downloads of both Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve, and Live Beyond Your Dreams, which takes you from fear and doubt to personal power, purpose, and success. It's all about the mindset you need to develop to get through a difficult transformation. And the book about love will definitely help you to choose better the next time. And then just the contact me form, it's a pop-up. Just contact me, tell me what you're going for. Please tell me that you heard me on this podcast, and you will get a special promotional rate if you decide to go through coaching with me. I don't know if I lost Chris. Chris, are you still there?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. Great. Your video has frozen on your side, but I'm glad we can still hear you. For your clients, is to reach out at me. My phone is 201-281-7887, or simply email me at rianamilne@gmail.com, because I don't pick up, of course, if I'm doing my sessions. But either way, call me or reach out to me on email, and I will see how I can help you best. Of course, the app is free to download. It's my relationship coach, and my YouTube page, Riana Milne, also has a ton of videos that could be helpful to you during this time. Hey, I want to say thank you for being with us during this podcast. Christopher Bruce Law Firm. Chris, thank you so much for being my guest and coming on and sharing your wisdoms. And make sure you get this collection of books from Chris. They're very well done, very fast and easy reads, but so full of information that's important for you to receive.
Riana, it's been an absolute pleasure to be involved with this, and I think you have so much that you make available for everyone out there, especially with the app, your books, and I think anyone listening to this, the first thing they should do before they're contacting any lawyer. They need to have that vision together, and I think that starts with talking to you, and you have that consultation for free. It's really nothing to lose. People need to do that.
Thank you. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. You need help, reach out to Chris or I. We're here for you. God bless and have an amazing holiday and a beautiful new year.